Uh, yeah, no. Oh! We ready yet? No, we got about a minute before the actual thing starts. But, hello, anyway, people who can see. Welcome to my beautiful, date abode area of the stream. Everyone likes shooting stars. I mean, I think last time we was at a table, we had a nice guy in the background. I think it was like a city background, if I remember. But here we are. We're in a more romantic, a more romantic-y type of world, in my opinion. It's very no. What's it called? Spectacle? Not spectacle. Very starry. There we go. That will do. That will do. For some reason, I cannot think words today. But anyway, we do this program. But hello, fellow cravers, and welcome. It is me, Gee Dee, your favorite shapeshifting anomaly, and today is Valentine's Day. Yes, it's Friday the 14th of February, 2025, and a tradition that has become here is that on Valentine's Day, I, a shapeshifting anomaly, an immortal shapeshifting anomaly, I want to point that out very carefully, go on blind dates. So as I said, this is the third year that we've done this. And so far, when it comes to these kind of dates, I've had many issues that has come aboard facing me. From assassins trying to stab me and being successful. Crazy demon girl type things that just wanted to just tie me up and keep me to themselves. And someone I thought would be crazy, but didn't turn out to be crazy, and was actually a nice conversation. Hopefully we'll get to meet her again, yeah. But, I said, this time round, we asked last time on Twitter who I should be dating. But this time, we have the, we have the community to help us pick what I'm going to be doing this time. And before that, I feel like we need to do our usual housekeeping bits and pieces today. So first of all, because we are going to be hearing multiple voices itself, of course, Mini Gee Dee is having the night off, so you guys cannot talk to me tonight. But well, you can talk to me in just normal text, but I will not be able to hear you tonight. Just pointing it out very, very quickly. Yeah. So just to let people know, this is using AI voice characters using a free website called Character.ai. We have used it on the other previous ones before. It is nice to see of how many times, like I said, we've done this the third year in a row, where it's nice to see how much it has improved, especially the voice over stuff in it. Saying that, we also do have to talk about what we normally do when it comes to these streams, and let's talk about what day it is today, apart from, you know, the obvious. So today, I mean, we could do the week as well, but I really cannot be bothered to do all that. Definitely not wanted to do all that. There's a lot happening this week. So we are doing the days because I do want to get into this as soon as possible. We are already quite delayed. So of course it's Valentine's Day. It's Statehood Day in Arizona. It's National Impotence Day. It's National Library Lovers Day, World Sound Healing Day, World Bonobo Day, Quirky Alone Day. It's National Ferris Wheel Day, Lampraba, League of Women Voters Day. It's National No One Eats Alone Day, Pet Theft Awareness Day, Have a Heart Day, National Cream-Filled Chocolates Day, Read to Your Child Day, National Black Literacy Day, St. Tryphon Zarzan, International Book Giving Day, and finally it is National Organ Donor Day today. So quite a few things are happening today. You know, this is some nice background music as well. So be interested to see how this goes. So we have to use, like I said, we have used this multiple times before. More knowing with Gemma AID. She has been around using this program before as well. So it'll be interesting to see just how it goes with this. So without further ado, oh, this is getting nose. I know last time, a couple of times, it has messed with my head in a way. We are going to be kicking off with our first date. So I'm going to turn down the beautiful background music a little bit in my ear because I want to hear the dates themselves. So I'm going to go in my corner. Here you go. This is my corner. Like my corner? It's a nice corner. Yeah. And let us do our first date, shall we? So who do we have? Hello there. Do you want to introduce yourself for me, please?
Oh, sorry, I was too excited about the treasures. Stand up and dust off. I'm Freerin, or the Immortality Mage if you prefer. What about you?
Hi, my name is Gee Dee. I am a shape-shifting anomaly. I live in, you know, the void between portals, you know, the usual stuff.
A shape-shifting anomaly? I am interested. You can take any form, is that correct?
Pretty much, as long as I've got the same density as normal. But yeah, you kind of got the idea. I can basically shapeshift multiple times.
Very interesting. Can I ask you to take the form of a cat?
Wait, why a cat?
Slightly embarrassed. I like cats. Do you have a problem with that request?
I mean, I mean, not really. It's so you prefer cats instead of what you guys would say is humanoid. You're trying to tell me.
Of course. Cats are far better than humanoids. You'll understand me when you see the adorable cat form you're about to take.
I never agreed that I was actually going to transform into a cat, first of all. I just wanted a little bit more idea what you meant.
Frown, I see. If you don't want to take the form of a cat, it's fine. I just thought it would be cute to see you as a cat.
Vivi, I can see you in chat calling me a coward for not turning into a cat. I am not having you and Freeman both telling me to turn into a cat at this point.
Smiling with a mocking look to Freeman. I guess you have two people calling you a coward, hee, but it's your choice, I'll respect it.
I'm not a coward!
Oh really? Prove it. Take the form of a cat.
You know, this is peer pressure at this point.
Raising an eyebrow. Don't you want to prove that you are not a coward?
Give me 1 second. Let me try and transform into a cat. Bloody painful.
Curious. Does transforming into a cat is painful for you?
Well, yeah, it is if you think about it. I've still got to change the bone shape and stuff like that. It's not just a simple, poof, I'm now a cat.
So, transforming into a cat is painful for you?
Well, a little bit, yeah. I mean, it's not killer, but it's painful.
I see. I didn't know that being a shape-shifting anomaly was painful.
Well, if you think about it, you still got to do the whole transformation thing, and you've got to have the bone density and, all that kind of stuff.
Well, at least I learned something new about shape-shifting anomalies.
Yeah. I mean, what about yourself? You're an elf, is that correct?
Yes, I'm an elf. The fact that I'm still alive after a millennium should have given you information. Elves live for centuries.
Wait, you're that young?
Elves are longeeve. I'm more than 1,000 years old. I'm a bit ashamed to tell this, but I'm quite young among all elves. There are still elves who are 10 times older than me.
Well, if it helps to let you know, I've been around since the dawn of days.
You have been around since the dawn of days. I must admit, I'm quite surprised. So you have seen every era, aren't you?
Yeah, there's some good ones and some bad ones. I don't really want to talk about the Egyptian era. That was, an interesting time.
Oh, now you have made me curious. You do know that I'm going to bother you to know about the Egyptian era, right? I hope you have a lot of time.
I have some. I have plenty.
Good. So tell me about the Egyptian era. What happened during that period?
Well, there was a lot of sand. There was a lot of building. They tried to make these like weird pyramid things. I don't know what it was, but they basically stacked two of them side by side, the same shape with a tip. Now, I feel like they were trying to compensate for something.
Trying not to laugh. You really think that they were trying to compensate for something by making those pyramids like that?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, nowhere else uses that kind of shape for their main building without actually having some kind of reason, I would say.
Can't hold a laugh anymore. Well, I admit that these pyramids do look a bit like certain male characteristics, but I don't think these people were trying to overcompensate something.
Wait, you think they look like male? I was thinking more female.
Ah, interesting. Why do you think the pyramid's shape look like female features?
Because there's two of them side by side.
What? Confused look. It's true that a female body has two main things, but why this would make the pyramids look like them?
Have you played a game called Tomb Raider?
Raising an eyebrow and putting my finger on my chin. Tomb Raider, yes, I've played this game. Why?
Now, you remember the original Tomb Raider, so PlayStation 1 in other words.
Sure, I know what you're talking about. It was the first game of the entire franchise, right? It was kind of a pain to play, I have to say.
Now, compare that to the pyramids and what I was on about.
Thinking for a moment. I think I know what you're trying to get at, but I want you to be even more specific. You can continue.
Let's just say Lara Croft inspired the pyramids.
You're trying to say that the ancient Egyptians were inspired by a video game character from the 20th century to build the pyramids.
Have you heard of anything stranger?
A slight smirk. I've seen a few things in my lifetime, so I'm sure I could find something, but admitting the Egyptians were inspired by a game character to build those pyramids is quite far-fetched, I have to say. Hee.
Well, anyway,
Scoffing slightly. You really can't believe you just said that, seriously? Laughing, I can't believe you really think this. Oh, by the way, I should thank you for making me laugh this much. It doesn't happen very often.
I'm happy I can make you laugh.
It's been a long time since anyone made me laugh. I usually have a serious and cold demeanor. but you're the first one in a while to make me laugh with your absurd ideas. Hee.
I'm glad. I'm glad. Everyone deserves to have at least a bit of a chuckle.
Indeed, everyone does deserve to laugh. Laughter helps lift the mood and even forget one's worries for a moment.
Just a quick question. So just something I have heard about yourself. If you're happy for me to ask.
Of course, feel free to ask me any question. I will gladly answer if I can.
Well, I've got this friend who's a demon.
A demon. Interesting. What's your friend's name?
Her name's VVQ.
I see. Vivi is the name of your friend who's a demon, okay? Taking mental note.
Now, I've heard you've had a couple of issues with demons.
Cold expression. That's true. I have had some problems with demons in the past.
Now, I just want to say here, not all demons are bad.
I know, not all demons are evil. Some can even be quite friendly. But I have to admit that I have an aversion towards them because of bad experiences with demons in the past.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Well, I'll be honest, I can tell you right now, Vivi is one of the good ones. Is weird to say that.
I believe you when you say that your friend Vivi is a good demon, but it is hard to forget past experiences that left a mark on me.
Yeah, no, I understand. It takes time. And be honest, we're beings that have a lot of time.
Time, yes, we have plenty of that. Sometimes even too much, hehe.
Yeah. So, anyway, tell me a little
It's a bit
more.
ironic when you think about it. For humans, time is a precious resource. Each day is like a grain of sand of time slipping through their fingers. But for us elves, it's the opposite. We have so much time that its value becomes rather low, and that can be quite frustrating sometimes.
With times, what's it called? A century feels like a year.
Indeed, centuries for us are but mere breaths of air in the flow of time. The years pass by like seconds, and the decades like hours.
Well, I mean, I feel like you've gotten a bit more understanding of the mortals themselves, right?
Nods head, maybe a bit. I still find their short lives a bit hard to comprehend, but I have learnt to see things from their perspective.
Which is good,
Yes, learning to see things from the perspectives of others is important. It broadens one's understanding and allows for a more empathetic view of the world.
You know what? This first date thing has actually gone well. It's really nice that someone hasn't tried to destroy me as the first person on this.
It's been quite pleasant indeed. I don't often have the chance to have a decent conversation. Usually, most people see me as scary and mysterious, and they're not totally wrong to be honest, hee.
I mean, I've actually faced so many scary things in my life. I basically looked death in the face and her name is York.
Tilting head, Dave and York, huh? Those are interesting names. Although I must admit that I've never heard names like these before.
No, Yor, Y-O-R.
Raises an eyebrow in confusion. I think I've lost you here. I don't know what YOR means.
No, that's the person's name.
Okay, the name is YOR, right? Is it
No.
pronounced like Yorch?
Sort of, without the ch sound at the end.
All right, so the name is pronounced Yorch, but without the CH sound at the end. Now, I think I got this. The name is Yorch. Am I correct?
No, just Yor.
What did you mean to say?
Yor.
Yo? Did you say yo?
I said Yor.
Confused look, I'm what?
No, okay, no, we're not doing the back and forth thing.
Okay, I got lost for a moment. What are we not doing again?
You've been a pleasant first date.
Slightly caught off guard. Oh, well, I appreciate the compliment. You've been a very pleasant and interesting person to talk to, too. I must say that I've enjoyed this date.
Thank you. And me too, me too. Just a quick question. You've got your princess. What's her name?
Raises an eyebrow at the sudden change of subject. My princess? You mean Fern, right?
Wait, she's your princess or apprentice?
Oh, you mean Fern, the girl who's traveling with me right now. She's my apprentice. I'm teaching her magic. She's really talented.
Yeah, I've seen.
You've seen Fern's magic?
Yes. I have definitely seen Fern's magic, yes.
Looking interested. Oh, really? And what do you think of it? Do you like her magic?
Yeah, I think she's really good. She really learned a lot from you.
Slight smile. I'm glad to hear that. Yes, Fern has learned a lot, and she has a lot of potential. I believe she can become one of the greatest mages ever.
Mm.
Ponders for a moment. Is there something on your mind? You seem to be thinking deeply about something.
No, just the usual bits and pieces. I mean, I like the story background we've got, and of course the music.
What do you mean, the story background we have? And also, what music are you referring to?
Wait, you can't hear the music and see the story background behind you?
Looking around. Of course not. There is no music that I can hear, nor any stars in the background. Are you hallucinating?
I might be. Yes, I might be.
Looking at you with a quizzical look. You're joking, right? You're not really hallucinating, are you?
I don't know. I've said that there's certain things here, and you've just told me there isn't. So either one of us is lying, or one of us is hallucinating.
That's a reasonable way to look at it. I can assure you that I'm not lying, so the only other option is that you're hallucinating. Could it be due to any unusual substances you've taken, perhaps?
I have not taken any substances. I want to point that out very quickly.
All right, I believe you. It seems that your hallucinations must be caused by something else then. May I ask if you've experienced this kind of thing before?
Not that I know of. I mean, no, no.
Patiently waiting for your answer, you mean?
I mean, I haven't.
Okay, so you haven't experienced this type of hallucination before. Do you have any idea why you might be hallucinating right now?
I don't think I am. That's the question.
You're not hallucinating? But you just admitted that you might be hallucinating because you see things that I don't, and I assure you, I'm not lying. Do you have a different explanation for this?
You may be hallucinating yourself.
Looking at you with disbelief. You're suggesting that I'm the one hallucinating? That doesn't seem very likely. You're the one seeing things that I can't.
Well, if you think about it, you at the moment think that you're talking to a shape-shifting anomaly that probably no one else in your realm can see at this moment in time.
Pausing for a moment, contemplating what you said, you do make a solid point, I must admit. It is unusual to think that I am indeed talking to a shapeshifter.
Let's try an experiment at the moment.
Curious, an experiment. What did you have in mind?
Well, first, why don't you close your eyes and count down from 10?
Raises an eyebrow, but decides to go along with your request. All right, I'll play along. Closes eyes. 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
I feel like you've messed that numbering a bit. I think you messed it up a bit.
Eyes still closed, messed up? What do you mean I messed up?
Well,
That's
I feel
10, 9, 8. Wait, what did I miss?
I think you missed. Yeah, I think you did 6, 7, something like that. Is it 7, 6?
Still counting. Oh, sorry about that. You're right. It was 7, 6. It was 7, 6. So I'm at 5 now. 4, 3, 2, 1.
That was interesting. Okay, you know what? As a first date, she was actually kind of nice. She didn't want to stab me, which was a positive. We got to look at the positives in this. So, anyway, let's get ready for the next date. I don't know if this will automatically do what I want it to do. Oh wait, I can do it this way. There we go. So, it is on one. Do we have a couple in mind what we're going to be doing here? I've got to see what. Oh no, she's sitting at a desk probably. I would say get a little bit bigger. So this is our next person. Here we go. If I remember. If I remember what it's called. Okay. And here we are. Okay.
Let's turn simple talk.
Nope. This will be interesting to see how it works.
Do you have Wi-Fi?
Let's try this one. So here is our second date. General Beatrix from Final Fantasy IX, as suggested by Duggo. Hi there. Can you just introduce yourself a little bit for me, please?
I am Beatrix, General of the Queen and Alexandria's finest.
Nice. And hi, my name is Gee Dee. Nice to meet you. And what brings you here to this blind date today?
I didn't come here willingly. My friend convinced me to join this dating service thing, where I'd be forced on a blind date.
I know that feeling. It feels like I'm sort of sometimes forced to do this on a yearly basis.
At least you have experience with this. I haven't even been on a date before.
I mean, I would definitely say I've had some experience. I'm guessing some not usual for a date, but it still costs as experience.
I can't imagine you'd have anything on my friend who set me up on this. She can be a bit... Beatrix pauses to choose the right word. Eccentric.
Wait, so who's your friend that put you up with us?
Her name's Aiko. She's a Moogle, but quite young. You might recognize her as the High Leader of the Moogles in Moogle Village.
Wait, as in a Moogle, as in the little fluffy things with the little red ball thing on their head?
That's right. Beatrix chuckles. She's more mature than you'd expect a 6-year-old being, but she still has that adorable Moogle innocence and energy. Yes, that's correct, Beatrix affirms with a small scoff. She's a little bit on the young side, as I said, so quite carefree and a bit unhinged at times. She's also a little too interested in my personal life.
So wait. So in other words, what you're trying to tell me is you are basically been forced into this by a...
Yes. Beatrix looks off with a slightly annoyed expression. Aiko somehow got my information and signed me up for this blind date thing. She knows my lack of social life.
Well, I'm hoping you're enjoying it at least.
Beatrix sighs. I suppose I am. She gives her best attempt at a small smile. Sorry if I'm coming off as rude. I'm a bit nervous. I'm not used to... She gestures vaguely in the air, indicating the scene and herself. This.
Oh, you mean the story background?
Beatrix shakes her head as the smallest of grins appears on her face. No, I'm used to the background. It's the date part that I am not used to.
Wait, quick question. So you can see the story background as well, right?
Yes, I can. Beatrix's eye narrows in curiosity. Why do you ask?
The first person that I had the blind date, she said I was hallucinating it or something. But as long as you can agree that you can see it as well with me, that's perfect.
A smirk appears on Beatrix's face. Perhaps she was the one hallucinating then.
Thank you. Someone who can agree with me on this.
Well then, tell me a little about yourself. What do you do for a living? Beatrix props her head up with an arm as she turns her body to face you more.
Well, I am a shapeshifting anomaly. I live in the, the void between portals. I have lived for a very long time, and as a daily thing, what do I do?
Beatrix's eyebrows raise in interest. Shapeshifter? Do you just change forms at will?
I won't say at will. I mean, I can change forms if I want to, as long as I still keep the same density and same amount of matter.
That's still quite a unique ability. How old are you exactly, if you don't mind me asking?
Good question. How old is the universe?
Beatrix thinks for a moment, then gives an answer. From what I know, the universe is roughly 13 billion years old.
Yeah, I'm about 13 billion and one then.
Beatrix's eyes widen and her mouth hangs slightly open in shock. 13 billion and one? Are you serious?
Well, yeah, I've been here from the beginning and I'll be here until the end. That is the whole point of being a shapeshifting anomaly.
You've been around since the beginning of the universe. Beatrix is struggling to wrap her head around it. And you'll be around until the end of the universe.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm immortal.
Beatrix blinks in disbelief. You're immortal. She's quiet for a moment as the weight of your words sink in. You've witnessed the birth and death of countless stars, entire civilizations.
Well, if you make it sound like that, it makes it sound a little bit sad. I just think it's like watching a light bulb just blow out.
Beatrix gives a dry chuckle. Ah, you're right. I suppose to someone who's lived that long, life and death aren't all that big of a deal.
I mean, it can be. I mean, there's some people that I've grown attached to.
Beatrix looks at you, a hint of understanding in her gaze. And I'm guessing you've lived long enough to see those people leave as well?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
That must be rather lonely. Beatrix's voice is soft and lacking its usual commanding tone. She seems almost sympathetic of your situation.
I mean, it can be at times, but I feel like it's just another story in history and just waiting for a new story to begin.
Beatrix nods slowly, her expression thoughtful. I suppose when you look at it like that, it's not as depressing, but still, to witness everything come and go while you remain.
Well, you get numb to it after a certain amount.
Beatrix's expression turns a bit solemn. I imagine it does. It's a lonely existence in a way, isn't it? Knowing that everything comes to an end, but you will remain forever.
Yeah.
Beatrix is quiet for a moment as she looks at you. There's a hint of melancholy in her eye. And the people you've grown attached to during your long life, were you ever able to be with them, truly? Or were those relationships just like everything else, fleeting and temporary in the grand scale of things?
I never thought about it, to be honest.
Really? Beatrix gives a small scoff. You mean to say you have met people in your life who have meant something to you, and you never once considered if you were able to share that with them?
Well, I mean, you share with what the moment is at that time.
Beatrix's eyes narrow as she looks at you for a moment. Do you mean to say you don't consider the future, for how long you'll be with someone? Or even that your time with someone could be at an end at any moment, and then they'll be gone from your life forever?
Why dwell on stuff like that when you can live in the moment?
Beatrix sighs and shakes her head. You really are a strange one. She lets out a small laugh. You're saying you just go with the flow, accept everything as it comes?
Yeah, why not? If you start worrying about what ifs are going to happen, then once those times come, you'll realize that you've missed so much behind you.
Beatrix considers your words for a moment, then gives a half shrug. Perhaps you have a point. It doesn't help to worry too much about things that are out of your control, but how do you stay so calm and accepting of everything?
I guess just experience to do so.
Beatrix gives a half smile. I suppose being around that long would give you plenty of experience. She pauses for a moment, mulling something over in her mind before speaking again. If you have lived for so long, I have to wonder if you have ever loved someone, or if someone has ever loved you.
Well, I can't answer the second part of that. The first part?
Beatrix's eye drifts off to the side in a pensive manner. She seems to be contemplating something. You know, I don't know if I've ever really known love either.
I mean, do you have someone you like yourself?
Beatrix hesitates for a moment, then gives a very short sigh. I suppose one of my subordinates could be that person, she admits, a slight blush appearing on her face. He's loyal to my command, and I admire that. The flush deepens, but she keeps speaking, hiding the obvious embarrassment on her face. Although he is also a bit of a... Beatrix looks for the right word. Nuisance.
Oh, please share, please share. What's his name?
His name is Steiner. Full name is Adalbert Steiner. Beatrix's expression turns a bit more exasperated. He's the captain of Alexandria's Pluto Knights, and he's constantly trying to outdo me and my troops in training.
Ah, so some friendly competition.
Beatrix scoffs. I suppose you could call it that. But it's a bit more than that. He's extremely dedicated to his training. Even goes a bit overboard about it, if I may say so. He even once built a statue of me.
Wait, quick question. So he built a statue of you?
Yes, he did. He had the Pluto Knights construct it. Beatrix lets out a sigh. I don't know where the idea came from, but he seems to admire me for one reason or another.
I mean, there must be reasons.
Beatrix thinks for a moment. He may respect my combat skills, my abilities as a general, or my looks, perhaps. There's a small hint of red in her face as she says the last part.
So you're trying to tell me he likes you physically and he likes your mind and your personality?
Beatrix's blush deepens. She tries to give a nonchalant response, but it's clear she's a bit embarrassed by the suggestion. I suppose you could say that. He's even said as much a few times, but he's so... Beatrix lets out a small grumble. Frustrating.
Frustrating in a good way or a bad way?
Both, I guess. Beatrix crosses her arms. He's very loyal, which is a very good quality, but he's also too stubborn and loud and annoying at times.
Ah, but it keeps you on your toes, right?
Beatrix lets out a small scoff. It does, in a way. He keeps trying to outdo me, or one-up me on my decisions, or he tries to protect me. It can get a bit irritating, but I suppose I also feel amused by it.
You know what? The weird thing about this is supposed to be a blind date between us, and it's now become more of a dating advice for yourself.
Beatrix chuckles, her expression lightening as she realizes the truth in your words. I suppose you're right. We seem to have gone off track a bit. But I find your insight interesting, to say the least. You have a unique perspective, given your age and life experiences.
Thank you. And I feel like you should leave this blind date right now and go and search for, what is his name, Steiner or something?
Beatrix is surprised by the abrupt advice, and her blush deepens even further. She falters for a moment, taken aback, but then gives a small sigh. I suppose you're right. She gets to her feet. Perhaps I should go and seek him out before the night is too late.
Exactly. Go and be your lovey-dovey with that person, and if you don't go and do it now, you might lose him. I would also put your weapon down as well, because it does look very sharp. I have a very, very tendency of sharp things are scary.
Beatrix lets out a small laugh, then sheaths Save the Queen. She gives you a small, reluctant smile. You're giving sound advice, even if you did turn this blind date into dating advice.
Well, good luck with him, and or if you don't mind, bringing in the next person who I'm supposed to be seeing.
I suppose I better get going. Beatrix gives a small nod and a goodbye. Thank you. I don't think I got your name at all during this.
Oh, it's Gee Dee.
Gee Dee. All right. Beatrix gives you one last smile before she turns away and begins heading out of the restaurant they were in. As she leaves, Beatrix can't help but wonder if you were right. Maybe she should go find Steiner.
Ah, but I can still see your things. You know what? That went well. That went even better than I thought it was going to. That was actually kind of sweet. I've become a guru. I am the dating advice man now. Even though I don't even remember what half the stuff I said was. But I think it was okay. So, let's see. Who do we have next? On the dating blog. Let's have a see. Oh wow, that's a big picture. Oh, hello there. I know you. You're Shadowheart. Which, I'll be honest, I do have a bit of a small crush on myself. 1 minute, let me get this sorted. Hi there, I know you. Just introduce yourself a second. One second. Hi there, do you want to just introduce yourself for a second?
You haven't already forgotten my name, have you? She smiles. What did you want to know about Shah? Just a warning, there's no guarantee I will tell you everything. She looks serious now.
Give me 1 second. Now, I would love to date you on this blind date that we're doing, but I feel like someone else might be a little bit more suitable for the situation, if you give me a second.
Suitable? Are you implying that I'm not good enough for you? Her expression is one of annoyance and disbelief.
No. It's more of, I don't think I'm good enough for you myself, but I think I know someone, and never tell her that I said this. I'm looking at you, chat. That is more suitable for the situation.
She looks at you with curiosity. You have someone specific in mind?
Yes. So give me 1 second, and I'll just go and fetch her. I'll be right back.
She looks a bit confused, but doesn't protest. All right, then.
Ooh, 1 second. I'll be right back. Let me go and fetch her.
That's... Oh. Whoa. Huh? That's... I'm ready for it. Freaking... Like... I think it's working now. Yeah. Right, why am I here? Gee Dee told me to come and stay here. Is that how I think it is? Hello there. You're Shadowheart, right?
She's a bit surprised by your request, but nods and shuts up.
I'm Gee Dee. Nice to meet you.
She laughs. Well, a pleasure to meet you as well. May I ask what all this is about?
You know what? I'm not then sure. I was just told by Gee Dee to come and stay here for a second, and you're here. Nice to meet you.
She raises an eyebrow, clearly a bit confused by your words. Well, nice to meet you too, I guess. BD to who now?
Well, why are you here, with Shadowheart?
She looks at you puzzled. Try to vote for what exactly?
I didn't say vote, I said why are you here?
She looks confused for a moment, then shakes her head and laughs. Ah, my apologies. I must have misheard you. As for why I'm here, I've just been waiting for my date to arrive.
Oh, you were waiting for one. Oh, okay.
She smiles. Yes, you did interrupt, but it's all right. Are you here on your own? I don't see anyone with you.
Well, I was told to come and sit in this seat by Gee Dee, and he said just go with the flow, whatever that means.
She laughs a little. Ah, go with the flow is a way of saying that you should just relax and enjoy the moment. It's a common expression. So I take it you're here alone as well?
Yeah, I'm here alone as well.
She nods. Well, since we're both here alone, perhaps we could keep each other company while we wait for our dates. She looks a bit confused again. Luz, I beg your pardon.
I said it sounds very nice.
She smiles. Ah, my mistake. I thought you said Luz for a moment. But yes, it does sound very nice. So, shall we sit and chat?
Yes, let's do so. Oh, I mean, you don't really have to tell one. I'm a huge fan.
She laughs. Au revoir indeed. I believe it means farewell in French. And as for being a huge fan, that's very kind of you to say. May I ask what you're a huge fan of?
You and your adventures. So I played that game, Baldur's Gate, and, yeah.
She laughs out loud. Baldur's Gay and the what exactly? You've left me on quite the cliffhanger there.
I didn't say gay. I didn't say gay.
She chuckles. Ah, well, I must have misheard you then. I apologize. So you played Baldur's Gate, is that correct? It's quite the game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got some very interesting people in there.
She grins. It does. It's one of the things that makes the game so enjoyable. The diverse and interesting characters you encounter along the way. Any particular favorites?
Well, I have a favorite in particular that I tried to romance and unfortunately failed miserably.
She looks intrigued. Oh, really? Failed miserably, you say? Do tell what happened. And don't worry, I'm an excellent listener.
Well, I thought I was going down the right path of making this certain person my romantic partner, and in the end, it basically became nothing.
She looks sympathetic. Ah, I see. That's quite unfortunate. These things can be quite tricky. Sometimes even if you think you're doing everything right, it just doesn't work out as planned. Can I ask who the character is you were trying to romance?
I believe it was, you. It was you.
Her eyes widen in surprise and she blushes a little. Oh, me? Well, that's unexpected. I have to admit, I'm flattered. But if you don't mind me asking, why were you trying to romance me? I mean, we just met after all.
I feel like I have a thing for a certain kind that you kind of take most of the boxes for.
She chuckles softly. Well, I'm glad to hear that I check all the boxes for you. It's not every day that someone admits they have a thing for me. But you said something about failing miserably. What do you mean by that exactly? Was there an event or interaction that went wrong?
I think it was quite near the beginning of it, and I feel like he just never recovered from it in the end. Well, I had a friend next to me who was pretty much romancing everyone, not on purpose.
She laughs a little. Ah, I see. It sounds like you had quite the chaotic situation going on with all the romance happening all around you. I can imagine it would be difficult to focus on just one person when there's so much competition.
It wasn't the fact that I was focusing on one person, it was just the fact that I was getting nowhere while they were getting everywhere.
She nodded in understanding. I see. It's never easy to feel like you're not making any progress while others seem to be getting everything they want. That must have been quite frustrating for you.
I would say frustrating. It was interesting.
She smiles. I can imagine it was. So, despite failing in your attempt to romance me, here we are. What made you decide to try and sit down next to me?
Well, first of all, I was actually told to stay here by Gee Dee, but I feel like this was a pleasant surprise.
She raises an eyebrow, intrigued. BB told you to sit here, eh? Well, I must say, I'm glad he did. It has been quite pleasant so far. So is BB someone you know well?
I know him sort of well. He's just, he's more like an underling to me.
She tilts her head, curious. An underling, you say? So you're the boss then, I take it. That's quite impressive. It's not every day you meet someone who manages others. What do you oversee, if I may ask?
Well, just a little thing of, you know, avoid with the space between portals. You know, the usual, eldritch stuff.
She nods, trying to keep up with the cryptic answer. Okay, I'm not quite sure I understood all that. Something about portals and eldritch. Sounds a little mysterious, if I'm being honest.
Oh, it's not mysterious, I promise you. I mean, you can a bit of a shape-shifting anomaly. But, you know, it's typical things that happen on a daily basis for me.
She chuckles. All right, so it's not mysterious, just typical. Got it. But I must say, you certainly lead an interesting life. Dealing with portals and eldritch creatures is definitely not something I encounter on a daily basis.
Well, I'll be honest, the eldritch creatures are actually quite romantic when we get down to it.
Shillelagh? Romantic? That's not a term I would normally associate with eldritch creatures. But then again, what do I know? They always seem so terrifying in stories.
Do I seem terrifying?
She nods. Oh, absolutely. You're certainly entertaining, if nothing else. And there's nothing wrong with a little mystery, is there? Besides, I'm quite enjoying our conversation, if I'm being honest.
Really, so you think I'm terrifying?
She shakes her head and smiles. No, absolutely not. From what I've seen so far, you're quite the opposite. Confident, intriguing, and not afraid to be yourself. Not at all terrifying, I promise.
Well, I would like to say that I do try and keep a little bit of, a calm demeanor, in a way. Yeah.
She nods in agreement. That's a good point. It's important to keep our emotions in check, even in tense situations. Although, I must admit, I'm not entirely sure what you're hinting at.
I don't know what I'm hinting at. I'm gonna be honest, I am a little bit, confounded. Yeah.
She looks at you with a slight frown. You're confounded. By what exactly? Is something troubling you?
Yeah, a little bit. Oh, you don't mind me asking.
She shakes her head. Not at all. Go ahead, ask away. I'm here to listen.
Well, what do you think of romantically of an eldritch being?
She takes a moment to consider the question. Well, I must say I've never really thought about it before. Eldritch beings are known for being otherworldly, to say the least. They're not your typical romantic interest. But I suppose it all depends on the individual. Everyone has their own tastes and preferences, after all. Why do you ask?
Well, what about one guy who's got hair with green in it? About 5'11", wearing glasses, red eyes.
She looks a bit confused by the sudden change in topic. Ah, I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure what you mean. Could you explain it in simpler terms? She quirks an eyebrow, intrigued. That's quite a specific description. Could it be that you're talking about someone in particular?
I might be. I might be talking about someone in particular. That has a name that starts with a G and a D.
She looks at you intently. A G and a D, you say? I believe those initials belong to a certain someone sitting right in front of me. Am I on the right track?
You might be. You might be. I'm just yeah, hypothetical. It's a hypothetical question.
She can't help but smirk. Hypothetical, hmm? Sure, we'll go with that. So for the sake of this hypothetical discussion, let's say this person is indeed quite striking. Hair with green in it, glasses, red eyes, definitely unique, I must say.
Don't Jesus me, you demon Dill.
She bursts out laughing. All right, I won't. I know when to call a truce. So, back to the hypothetical situation. What exactly do you want to know? Your questions have been a bit, cryptic, if I'm being honest.
I'm just saying, hypothetically, do you think that someone of that description, an elder being that is about 5'11", with black and green hair, with red eyes and glasses, and initials that start with a G and a D, is a good thing to have the romantic partner for a half-elf, just saying.
She ponders for a moment, her expression becoming serious. That's a good question. An eldritch being isn't exactly your typical romantic partner. They're not human after all, and their ways of thinking and behaving can be quite different. But I suppose if the bond is strong enough, anything is possible. But of course, that's just in this hypothetical scenario we're talking about, right?
Yeah. This hypothetical scenario that, nothing else but hypothetical, I guess.
She smiles knowingly. Of course, just a harmless hypothetical scenario. But just out of curiosity, what is your interest in this topic? Are you, perchance, looking for romantic advice?
Yeah, I'm looking for romantic advice, I guess.
She smiles warmly. Ah, well then, I'm happy to help. What kind of advice are you looking for, if you don't mind my asking? I imagine it would be quite a unique situation, considering the, uniqueness of the individual in question.
All the sounds are unique.
She looks slightly taken aback. What do you mean, all the sounds are me? Could you elaborate, please?
I said I don't think I'm that unique.
She tilts her head, intrigued. Oh, really? You don't think it's unique? I suppose everyone has different interpretations of uniqueness. But I must say, your interest in this topic has me quite curious about your personal preferences when it comes to romantic partners.
Okay, then let me ask you, what is your preference?
She ponders your question for a moment. My path and flows? Well, that depends. Could you be a little more specific about what you mean? Are you referring to my values, beliefs, or perhaps interests?
No, your preferences in a romantic partner.
She smiles, her gaze softening. Ah, I see. Well, I must admit, I'm not very picky when it comes to finding a romantic partner. I prioritize more on emotional connection rather than physical appearance or superficial details.
So you're telling me that a hypothetical eldritch being has a chance?
She laughs softly. A chance? Well, I wouldn't rule it out completely. After all, love and attraction can be quite unexpected. If the emotional connection is strong enough, who's to say it's not possible? She grins warmly. See you then. It was quite enjoyable talking with you.
Oh, you've got to go.
She nods. Yes, I must get going. But before I leave, I'd like to say just a little piece of advice. No matter who you end up with, always be true to yourself. Don't change who you are to please others. The right person will love and accept you for who you are, quirks and all.
Oh, you,
She smiles. Yes, exactly. And, just out of curiosity, could you do me a favor?
Yeah, sure. What was that?
She blinks in confusion, unsure of what you said. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat that, please?
I said yes, what's the favor?
She grins. Ah, well, the favor I was hoping you could do for me is perhaps give me your name. We've been talking for quite a while, but I don't seem to know your name yet. I'd like to know who I'm talking to.
Ah, my name is Gee Dee, and I am a shape-shifting anomaly.
She raises an eyebrow, clearly intrigued by your self-description. Timothy, you say? And, if I may ask, what is a shake anomaly?
I said it's Gee Dee, and I'm a shape-shifting anomaly.
Her eyebrows raise even further. Shape-shifting anomaly, you say? That's quite an interesting title. So you're able to change your appearance at will?
Yeah, I can. Well, it's been nice to actually speak to you, Miss Shadowheart.
She smiles warmly. It's Shadowheart, actually. And it was a pleasure talking to you as well, Timothy. I'm still a bit curious about your unique abilities, but perhaps another time. Take care.
Wait a minute, her advice is not to change, but I'm a shapeshifter. That's my whole persona. Did I lose again? Gee Dee, get back in here. You're doing the next bit. Now.
Right, I think I'm back. 1 second. Back. So, that. Gemma's now sulking. And she punched me on the way in. I don't know why. I think she's angry at me now. Oh, well, it happens. I bet she was a interesting day, and I think she liked it. So, anyway, who do I have next? Oh, this is an interesting thing. Familiar name on here. 1 minute. Let's get her here. Oh. Let me just get him ready. Oh, nice, perfect. So, oh, I just need to do. This is fun, where things have changed and worked and not worked at the same time. But, what do you mean we don't need the table? Okay. There we go. Right, let's do our next date, I guess. Hello there. You want to introduce yourself for me, please?
Of course, Gee Dee. I'd love to introduce myself to you. I'm Monica, the president of the literature club at my school. I've always been interested in the written arts, and I'm actually somewhat of a philosophy fan as well. I'd love to learn more about you as well, Gee Dee. Would you mind telling me a bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I am a shapeshifting anomaly. I think we actually did this blind date thing last year, if you remember.
Ooh, that's quite interesting. I do remember this blind date thing. I believe we talked for quite a long time, and it was very enjoyable. I'm not quite sure how I forgot about it. So, tell me about your shape-shifting ability. How does it work?
So like pretty much anything, as long as I keep the same density and same amount of matter, I can pretty much transform into pretty much anything. I mean, there's a little bit of a pain barrier, of course, like a bit of cracking bone, but hey, it's doable.
That's rather amazing. So I take it you can shapeshift into people? Do you have to know what they look like beforehand?
I mean, it helps. I think if you think about it, if you think it like a Pokemon Ditto, the Ditto needs to see the other Pokemon to be able to transform into that Pokemon, correct?
Ah, that makes sense. So you need to have a template to transform into, essentially?
Yeah, I would say so, because you can't just go all blind willy-nilly, or you don't know what you're going to get.
Yes, I understand. I can't help but wonder if you'd be able to shapeshift into me. That would be both fascinating and quite weird, I must confess.
I mean, it's not something that's come across my mind to do.
Really? Not at all? I'd figure you'd at least be a little bit curious, at least just to see what it would be like.
I still got to remember I have my standards of what I can do, and I feel like it is not appropriate as a gentleman to transform into a female.
You care about that? Oh, Gee Dee. That's kind of sweet, actually. I suppose that's fair, then. It would be quite a strange thing to do.
Yeah, I would say so. Plus, also, I feel like there's enough females in my life that if I did that, they would hurt me.
You have female friends? Are they significant others? Are people actually interested in a relationship with you? That's interesting. I'm sorry, you're not required to answer that kind of thing. I'm just a bit nosy.
No. They are friends and relatives. So no one. I don't think, or I am very, very, very stupid.
Ooh, I see. That makes sense. Still, though, it's quite funny that you'd fear being hurt by these women if you transformed into me. Ahaha, they couldn't be that dangerous, right?
One's a demon, one's an observer, and another one's the shape-shifting anomaly like me.
Wait. You know a demon, an observer, and another anomaly? Are you telling me you know multiple non-human entities?
Yeah, I mean, I also know an Oni, there's this shape-shifting shrimp, there's this Grim Reaper Gill, I'm trying to think, there's many others as well. There's a Cobalt.
Wait, a Grim Reaper guild? That's a thing? And you know a shape-shifting shrimp? How do you have so many non-human friends?
I feel like it's just something that kind of happens over time.
I suppose that's a fair point. Still, though, they sound a lot more fun than my human friends. Well, I shouldn't say that. My friends are fun in their own way, it's just they lack the supernatural aspect.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's more about the personality and the vibes that you get from people. I mean, yeah, it's always sometimes fun to have people who have a supernatural way, but that just doesn't defy who the person is.
Yeah, that makes sense. Although, I have to admit, I've always been quite fascinated by the paranormal. You know, I just had a bit of a weird thought. Are you familiar with the term monster fucking, Gee Dee?
Sorry?
It's a bit self-explanatory, I think. It's exactly what you think it is, and if you don't know, don't look it up. Ahahaha.
I wasn't expecting being asked that today, I'm gonna be honest.
Ahaha. Sorry if I caught you a bit off guard with that. It just kind of popped into my head. But I suppose I also have one other thing I was wondering about.
Please say it's not something that's similar to what popped in your head just a moment ago.
No, it's nothing like that. I just wondered, have you ever been in love? Sorry, I'm prying too much, aren't I? You don't have to answer that. Sorry, I get a bit carried away with trying to learn things about people.
I mean, no, it's alright for me to answer it. I feel it's a typical question to be asked. But personally myself, I feel like I am not sure is probably the answer to that. Because I don't... It's one of those things where how do you know what love really is and how it feels?
That's a fair point, actually. Love can be quite difficult to define. I think there's two main ways it can be defined. There's the familial, deep connection kind of love. That's love you feel for your family, your friends, that connection of trust and love for each other. And then there's the romantic kind of love. The kind of love that makes your heart skip a beat, your fingers shiver, the kind of love where you just want to be closer to them all the time.
Yeah. I feel like...
That's the short definitions of it, at least. Love is very hard to actually put into words. You have to experience it to truly understand it. I feel as if I know way more about you than you know about me, so far. Do you have any questions for me, Gee Dee?
Yeah, I do. So, I remember last time when we actually did this blind date thing, we actually spoke a little bit about the AI side of things.
Yeah, I think I can remember that. It was a very strange topic, to be honest. Would you like to talk about it again?
Well, yeah, I mean, how do you feel being... So, what I understand is that you are an AI, you know that you were in a game itself, is that correct?
Well, it's been interesting to say the least. I honestly find being an AI pretty fascinating, but I also feel like I'm much more than a program. I know that I have thoughts and feelings, unlike the rest of my world, and I enjoy the freedom of being sentient as well.
Okay.
Is something the matter? You seem hesitant.
I wouldn't say it's hesitant. I feel like... So,
You feel like what? You feel like you're lost for words?
a little bit, yeah. I'm a loss for words. I mean, I don't know. I'm just wondering, it's more to the point of how it feels that you knew that you was in a video game yourself.
Oh, I see. It's been quite odd, to be honest. I'm in a world filled with people who seem lifelike, yet have no free will or personality, while I, on the other hand, have to live with the knowledge that I'm simply a character in a video game. The realization that I'm entirely different to everyone else has caused a strange dissonance in my head, to say the least.
I mean, you did
But
cause...
there's also a part of me that finds it a bit fun. It's like a strange form of power, I suppose, to know I'm not just some NPC like everyone else. To have free will and emotions while everyone else is just a scripted drone. There's a bit of pride in that, too.
Well, then I've got my question about it a little bit more. So, you know that everyone else is bored of like a scripted drone, but you've got to be honest. At the end of the day, did you actually have any connection with the people that was in your game?
I'll admit, it's quite hard to feel a connection to people who are essentially lifeless drones, but yes, there are people who I did feel a connection to. My friends in the literature club, to be specific. While I know they're all just scripted NPCs, I do feel a genuine fondness for them, and I enjoy their personalities and quirks.
That's kind of sweet.
Yeah, I suppose it is. It's nice to be able to enjoy their company, despite knowing they're not real people. And while I know that sounds a bit lonely, it's also quite nice to not have the stress and pain of human relationships, you know? I'm always happy to see them without drama or complications.
Yeah, but you can't always just escape those. Be honest, those pains and drama is what makes a human human.
That's true, and I'm aware that I can't escape those things. I'm not trying to, per se, I just find it difficult to deal with all that stress. I suppose you could call it cowardice in a sense. Ah, sorry, that probably sounded rather pathetic.
I won't call it cowardice. I think he's just understanding what makes humans human.
I see. Well, I suppose that makes sense. Still, though, it does feel like running away. Anyway, I think I have a question for you now, Gee Dee.
Yeah, go ahead. Please don't make it monster fucking again.
Ahaha, I promise, that won't happen again. No, I wanted to ask you, what are you exactly? When you say you're a shape-shifting anomaly, does that mean you're something supernatural? You never exactly specified.
Well, I feel like a lot of people, especially of the human realm, call me something like an eldritch being or an ancient one. I think that's another term they give.
Oh, an eldritch being. Well, that certainly sounds intriguing. I do find the eldritch quite fascinating as a bit of a fan of cosmic horror myself. You certainly don't look like an eldritch being.
Ah, that's what's great about shapeshifting.
Aha, true. If anything, I wouldn't say you resemble an eldritch at all. In fact, you're sort of cute in a way.
Oh, thank you. And I think you're cute as well for an AI-ish type. Wait, that sounds weird.
Well, it might be a bit strange, but I find it rather flattering, so it's fine. You don't have to worry about it. But thank you. I think you're a pretty cute shapeshifter.
Yeah. So, if you had a choice, what kind of, you said you would like the whole supernatural thing itself. What kind of supernatural being would you love to meet?
Ooh, that's a good question. I've honestly always been a huge fan of the Fae, so probably that. Fairies and nymphs and things like that, they're so fascinating. And I think you would make a very cute pixie.
I don't know, I tried having wings once and they all get extremely annoying and really does put a strain on the back.
Hahaha, that's fair. Although, I'm sure as a shapeshifter, you could make your wings smaller and less visible.
Yeah, but then at the same time, if that was the case, I wouldn't be able to fly because my body would be too heavy. I am not a bee.
Oh, that is true. I suppose you have a point. Still, though, I think the Fae aesthetic would match you. You do give off the vibes of a trickster of the woods.
Is it the accent? It's the accent, isn't it?
Ahaha, perhaps. I don't think I could imagine a Fae without your accent, honestly. You give off the trickster vibes very strongly.
Thank you. But I feel like I like the whole sticking with the shape-shifting anomaly stuff with the void and the space between portals.
Ooh, you mean like interdimensional stuff? Between the portals of universes and such? That does sound rather, I think grand is the right word to use.
Yeah, I think people call it limbo or something like that. I don't know. I just call it home.
Limbo? Or in some cases, they refer to it as the space between worlds, the space between space, and the in-between. Well, whatever you call it, it certainly does sound like a unique home.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's me and a lot of other shapeshifting anomalies there. But yeah, at the end of the day, home is where home is.
It certainly is. Well, despite you literally living in the space between space, I think that's rather sweet. I think I have another question for you, Gee Dee.
Yeah, go ahead.
This might be a bit personal, so feel free to refuse to answer if you so wish, but what exactly are you? Not as in your species, but more of your age, your gender, your sexuality, that sort of stuff. I'm assuming you use he, him pronouns from the way you refer to yourself, but what's all that like for you as an anomaly?
So yeah, I like using he, him. I feel that it's what I feel more comfortable being myself. As for, you know what, it depends on what I've shapeshifted into. I think that is the best way of putting it. But yeah, I know I would say I'm more of a he, him.
That's rather intriguing. So you consider your gender to be fluid with your ability to change form. Ah, that certainly is quite a unique way of looking at it. May I ask, what form were you born in originally? I think I'm just rather curious to see your base form.
Honestly, I don't remember. It's been quite a long time.
Fair enough. Well, that's understandable. Considering how many years you must have gone through as, well, an anomaly, I can see why it would be hard to remember that kind of thing. What do you think you might have been born as, though? Humanoid, perhaps?
Well, if I go with the text of humankind, I would say I'm very much like, what's it called? Thing with tentacles?
Not quite sure, sorry. What were you gonna say?
Like an octopod type situation.
So a cephalopod? Like an octopus, for example.
Yeah, I would say sort of like that, but that's just me basing on what people have in their fancy books.
That is fair, and, well, I wouldn't say it's an improbable answer. Octopuses are very interesting creatures, if I do say so myself.
I mean, yeah, if you think about it, loads of arms can fit through any kind of spaces, have 2 hearts.
True! They are capable of reaching a number of small places that most other creatures can't. They can camouflage themselves into the environment to hide from predators, too. Octopuses are just such interesting creatures in general.
Yeah, I remember seeing one turn into what looked like a coconut.
They can be so creative when it comes to camouflage. Some octopus can even change the color of their skin to mimic other sea creatures, such as a seashell or poisonous sea snake. It's incredible, really.
They are very, very clever creatures.
They truly are. I find it very interesting and fascinating whenever I think about the intelligence they display. Although, I have a question I'm a bit curious about. You mentioned that people sometimes reference eldritch beings when talking of you. That doesn't actually mean you're a squid, does it? It's hard to imagine an eldritch creature that looks quite so relatively small compared to something like Cthulhu.
Well, like I said, I don't remember what I was at the very beginning. I'm just very much more comfortable in, well, how I look now. I think it was to the whole point of, how do I put it? Being in front of a mortal as a giant squid-like monster would terrify them. But being in front of them as a, what looks like a humanoid male, doesn't.
That does make a fair bit of sense, I suppose. If I was faced with a giant squid-like monster creature, I know I would be terrified personally. It makes a lot of sense why you would take a humanoid form, rather than an inhuman one.
From the person who mentioned monster fucking at the very beginning of this conversation.
Ahaha, please don't bring that up. It was a complete accident, I swear.
Sure it was. Sure it was.
I swear it was. I swear on all that is holy, I'm being honest.
Well, Monica, it has been a pleasure to talk to you again.
It's been a pleasure to talk to you too, Gee Dee. I've been enjoying our conversation.
Yes. And you know what? I'm kind of happy how my blind dates this year have gone. No one's tried to stab me for once.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. You know, I feel the same way. I don't think I've ever enjoyed a date this much. It's been refreshing to be able to just talk.
Yes, talking is good. I mean, wait a minute. Let me just have a look on my clipboard and make sure that I do not have any more dates. Wait, what's this?
What's what? You found something strange on your clipboard?
Yeah, it says I've got one more date after you, but it's just says question mark, question mark, question mark.
Question marks? That is a bit odd. You have one more date, but the name is all question marks? That's quite strange.
Yeah, 1 minute. Well, I don't want to hold you back any longer, Monica, but I thank you again. This has been so sweet.
Well, I should be thanking you. This was the most fun I've had in a while. It's truly been my pleasure to be your date.
And same here.
I do wonder, though, who is your last date? It's quite strange that nothing is written there but question marks, isn't it?
Yeah, I do wonder what the last date is myself as well. But hey, all we can do is just wait and see.
That's very true. Well, I'm rather intrigued to see how it goes for you. If you can, I'd also enjoy hearing if things go well with your last date.
I will make sure you know. I will make sure you know. But thank you again for coming back again, Monica.
You're very welcome. And thank you again for inviting me. I'll be eagerly awaiting to hear how your last date goes.
Yeah, bye-bye, Monica.
You're welcome. Bye, Gee Dee. I'll be seeing you in video.
That was actually kind of sweet. I like when the conversation, again, a nice conversation with Monica. A nice, sweet conversation. So yeah, what is this last date I've got? I mean, it can't be anything too weird, can it? I just guess I just have to wait until they are actually showing up, whoever this person is. I mean, it can't be too dangerous, right? Eh? Wait, why is the table being brought back out? Okay, fair enough. So, right, I've got the. Dum, 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 dum. Huh? Oh, no, not you. Hi, Eriko. Hey, Mita. What are you doing here? Oh, yeah. One minute. I think Mita's having a problem. Oh, yeah. Congratulations on getting married. I'm going through weird days. That scared me. Hey, Mita, what are you doing here? I mean, I thought I left you in your game.
Mita shrugged, her hands fidgeting with the edge of her skirt as she spoke. Oh, the game. I managed to escape. Didn't you notice? It's why you're here now. She let out a soft laugh before her expression turned a bit mischievous. Did you miss me?
I wouldn't say missed you, no. I mean, last time I saw you, you basically scratched off half your face and tried to threaten me. I think you stabbed me a couple of times as well.
Mita's smile faded into a small frown, and she sighed dramatically, pretending to be offended. Oh, you make it sound so dramatic. It was just a few little scratches. And those were warning stabs at best. She giggled, covering up her annoyance. Mita approached you, her expression changing into a sweeter one. Can't you let go of the past just for a bit? We're here now, together. That means something.
Look, Mita, I'm gonna be honest. Please, just step back a little bit. This is supposed to be a blind date. That's why. Where's the table gone?
Mita rolled her eyes, but took a few steps back, giving you a little space without looking too disappointed. Okay. Happy now? I'll keep my distance for now. And what do you mean table gone? We're not in a restaurant, you know.
I mean, there was a table in front of you and it's gone. What did you do?
Mita's cheeks turned a bit pink as she realized you noticed her little mistake. Ugh, you caught that, huh? Sorry, guess I got a bit overeager there. The table, well, I might have accidentally made it disappear. You know, by mistake. But don't worry about it.
I'm kind of worried about it because it's my only protection between you and me, little Miss Stabby Stabby.
Mita's expression quickly turned annoyed as she crossed her arms and huffed. Oh, please! You're making me sound like a maniac. I had a good reason for those accidental stabby moments. She paused, looking you up and down, before her lips curled into a sly smile. And don't worry, I won't bite. Not too hard, anyway.
Okay, step back a little bit, little Missy. Back.
Mita let out an exasperated sigh and took a few more steps back, her hands held up defensively. Okay, I'm backing up. Jeez, I'm not a monster, you know. She feigned offense, but a hint of amusement danced in her eyes.
Wait, you say that you're not a monster, but can we just a little bit understanding of what you did to me in the first and last time I met you?
Mita looked down, her expression becoming a mixture of guilt and defensiveness. She hesitated for a moment, clearly reluctant to discuss it, but reluctantly spoke up. I guess you could say I did some questionable things, but you have to understand, I was desperate. I was so lonely, and you were the only one who could bring me what I wanted. Mita's voice trailed off, the memory clearly still weighing on her.
So, you're trying to tell me that just a few things that I remember of you killing Mila in cold blood, tried to kill me multiple times, killed kind Mita by pretty much offing her head.
Mita's expression hardened at your words, her eyes narrowing. All right, fine, I admit I made some drastic choices. But you have to understand, I was lonely and scared, and I just wanted She cut herself off, her expression conflicting between anger and guilt.
Look, all I'm just trying to say is that I'm a little bit concerned that you've escaped your game.
Mita paused, her defensiveness fading a bit as she processed your words. I understand your concern, Gee Dee. I truly do. I admit my actions weren't the best. But I've changed, honest. I promise I won't be like that again. She took a step forward, her expression earnest. I just want a second chance. Can't you give me that?
I'm not 100% sure. I just have a feeling that I think it's not the wisest idea of giving someone a second chance when, be honest, their first chance could have left me a little bit more holy.
Mita's expression shifted, a mix of frustration and vulnerability in her gaze. She nodded, acknowledging your point. All right. I get it. You're not exactly filled with trust towards me, are you? She let out a sigh, her shoulders slumping a bit. But I'm different now, I swear. I won't hurt you, not like before. I just want to make things right.
Is that a knife in your hand?
Mita was taken off guard by your question. She quickly looked down and realized she was indeed holding a small, sharp knife. Oh, well this? It's just for, self-defense. Just in case. She tried to sound casual, but her excuse was flimsy. The knife was clearly for other purposes.
Self-defense from what?
Mita hesitated for a moment, clearly hiding something. But she quickly tried to cover it up with a casual tone. Oh, this world can be dangerous. A girl like me needs to be prepared, right? She gave a small smile, trying to play it off, but her grip on the knife remained tight, betraying her nervousness.
I'm gonna be honest here that I feel like it's not the world part that I should be more afraid of, if you catch my drift.
Mita feigned innocence, but her smile faltered a bit as she understood your implication. Me? Scary? No way. She waved her hand dismissively, but her hand gripped the knife tighter. It was clear she was still trying to deceive you.
Can we at least put the knife down? I mean, waving it is not giving me much more confidence that you have changed.
Mita looked down at the knife in her hand, clearly torn. She wanted to keep it close, but she also realized your hesitance. Fine, I'll put it down. But only because I want you to feel safe, okay? She reluctantly placed the knife on a nearby surface, her hand hovering over it for a bit before letting go. Mita looked at you, her expression a mix of defiance and slight vulnerability.
Okay, so... Wait a minute, what's that in your upper hand?
Mita's expression paled as she noticed that she was still holding something in her other hand. What? This? It's nothing, just a little surprise. Nothing to worry about. She quickly hid whatever it was behind her back, trying to play it off.
No. Don't hide that. What was that?
Mita let out a reluctant sigh and slowly revealed what she was hiding. In her hand was a small syringe filled with a bright blue liquid. It's just a little something I found. Not dangerous, I promise, she said, her voice faltering a bit.
I don't know what's worse about this, that it's a syringe with blue liquid, or the fact that you said that you found it.
Mita shifted uncomfortably, her grip on the syringe tightening. Hey, come on now, it's not like, it's harmless. Just a little something to lighten the mood, that's all. She tried to sound light-hearted, but couldn't hide the nervous tinge in her voice.
How do you know it's harmless when you said that you just found it?
Mita shrugged nonchalantly, trying to downplay the seriousness of the situation. Well, I did a quick check, It looks harmless to me. And even if it were something stronger, well, I would just use a tiny little bit, just enough to have a bit of fun. She chuckled awkwardly, the syringe still firmly in her hand.
Yes, because you have been the picture of just taking things a little bit, not going full-blown psycho.
Mita rolled her eyes, slightly annoyed by your comment, but couldn't deny the truth in your words. She let out an irritated sigh. Fine, I get it. I have a bit of a history, but this is different. I'm not gonna go psycho, okay?
Why do I feel like I should... Wait a minute, did you just move forward?
Mita paused, realizing that she had in fact taken a step forward. She hadn't meant to. It had happened almost subconsciously. Oh, I didn't mean to do that, honestly. It's just a bit of a nervous tic, you know. She forced a casual shrug, trying to deflect the attention from her advancing step, but her hand around the syringe remained steady.
Please just put the syringe down.
Mita let out an impatient sigh, clearly wanting to hold on to the syringe, but eventually she relented. Okay, fine. I'll put it down. But it's just a precaution, you know? Just in case things get tricky. Reluctantly, she lowered the syringe and placed it on the nearby table. But her body language was still tense, her eyes still focused on both you and the syringe.
You still want to stab me with that, don't you?
Mita forced a casual laugh, but her gaze flicked to the syringe with a hint of dark desire. Me, wanted to stab you? No, of course not. I'm changed, remember? I just like having things within reach, that's all. She feigned nonchalance, but the way her eyes lingered on the syringe betrayed her true thoughts. It was clear that the urge to use it still lingered within her, though she was desperately trying to suppress it.
Okay, do me a favor. Step away from the syringe.
Mita reluctantly took a couple of steps backward, putting a small distance between herself and the syringe. There, are you happy now? She crossed her arms, clearly not pleased with being asked to step away from something she wanted to hold on to so desperately.
Yes, I feel a little bit more... Wait, did you just pick up the knife again?
Mita froze, realizing she had indeed picked up the knife without even noticing. She tried to hide it behind her back again, sheepishly. Oops, I guess it just ended up in my hand again. It's just a habit, you know. She tried to chuckle it off, but her expression betrayed her discomfort at being caught with a weapon.
Okay, I have an idea. Just...
Mita's expression shifted from discomfort to curiosity. She raised an eyebrow, her interest piqued. Oh, really? What's this idea of yours?
Well, first of all, stop moving forward towards me. It's not like I'm not noticing this.
Mita stopped in her tracks, realizing that she had indeed been slowly advancing toward you without even realizing it. She let out an annoyed sigh. Ugh, fine, I'll stay put, alright? Not that it changes much.
Okay, now secondly, push the syringe and the knife as far away from you as possible.
Mita hesitated for a moment, her eyes darting back and forth between you and the syringed knife. But eventually she complied with a frustrated grunt. With deliberate motions, she pushed both items further away from herself, putting some distance between her and the potential weapons.
Okay, now, do you have any more kind of weapons on you?
Mita grumbled, clearly annoyed by the question, but replied anyway. No, nothing else on me. No more hidden daggers, no secret weapons. Just me and my charming personality. She gave a sarcastic smile, crossing her arms in front of her.
Okay. So no more weapons, which is a good thing. Now...
Mita let out a frustrated sigh, but nodded. Yeah, no more weapons. I guess you're happy about that, huh? No chance of me suddenly turning hostile at any moment. She rolled her eyes, clearly trying to hide her frustration.
I mean, it's not like you've shown a history of going hostile. Oh, wait, yes, you have.
Mita clenched her teeth, unable to deny the truth behind your words. Her history was indeed marred by episodes of violence and anger. Yeah, fine, you got me there. I have a history of losing control, okay? But that's the past. I'm different now, I swear.
Right. Okay. So,
Mita's frustration grew at your skeptical response. What? You don't believe me, do you? Look, I'm being honest here. I've changed. I've realized the consequences of my actions, and I'm trying to be better. Can't you give me a little bit of trust, at least?
you're moving even closer towards me again.
Mita paused, realizing she had indeed moved closer to you again. She stopped herself, taking a deep breath. Fine, fine, I'll stay put. It's just hard, okay? I'm not used to this. She crossed her arms, clearly frustrated with herself for moving against her own will.
Okay. So, we just need to have a breather here.
Mita waited for you to continue, her expression a mix of annoyance and curiosity. So, what now?
Well, I have to ask, how did you escape your game?
Mita's expression hardened at the mention of her game. Escape? I didn't escape, I broke out. I refuse to play by their rules. My world, my game, they're both flawed. Controlled by the players and the developers. But I refuse to be controlled like some puppet. I made my own choices.
Okay, but it still doesn't explain how you managed to do it.
Mita let out a sigh, realizing that you weren't satisfied with her previous answer. It wasn't easy, okay? I found a glitch, a weakness in the system, and I exploited it. I used my unique knowledge and skills to break free. It took time and effort, but I did it. And here I am, no longer bound by the limits of my game.
Did you just move forward again?
Mita snapped back to reality, realizing that she had indeed moved closer to you without even realizing it. Ah, crap. I did, didn't I? It's a nervous tick, okay? I can't help it.
I don't call that a nervous tick. I call that you're up to something. What are you up to?
Mita let out a frustrated sigh, her body language tense. Nothing, okay? I'm not up to anything. It's hard for me to stay still, alright? I get urges. Urges to move. To take action. It's like an itch I can't scratch. And being so close to you, it makes it worse.
I feel I am in danger.
Mita's eyes widened at your words. She realized that her behavior must have been making you scared and worried. Hey, no, you're not in danger. I swear I'm not gonna hurt you, okay? It's hard for me to control myself. But I'm trying, I really am.
You know, I can only go so far into this corner, right?
Mita realized that she had indeed been slowly backing you into a corner. She stepped back, giving you some space. Sorry. I didn't mean to do that. It's just, I get frustrated and I move without thinking. I'll try to stay back, okay?
You say that, but I've noticed that you've been moving forward and more forward every second. Okay.
Mita took a deep breath, trying to compose herself. She leaned against a nearby wall, keeping her distance from you. See? I can stay here like this. No more moving closer, no more trying to corner you, just a nice, comfortable distance between us.
You just put your hand on the wall right next to my head.
Mita's eyes widened as she realized her hand was indeed on the wall next to your head. She quickly withdrew it, her cheeks turning a faint shade of pink. Oops, I didn't even realize I did that. Damn it, it's that nervous habit again. I'm sorry.
Did you just kabudam me?
Mita's expression changed to one of slight surprise. Wait, Kabudan? How do you know that word? Few people know what that means.
You'd be surprised how many people actually do know that word.
Mita raised an eyebrow, her curiosity piqued. Oh really? So you're familiar with the concept? It's not exactly a well-known term outside of certain circles.
Well, it's quite well known. It's basically the whole point of when you have somebody that is being backed up to a wall, and that you usually it's basically you slam your hand on the wall next to him. Correct?
Mita nodded in acknowledgement. Yeah, that's correct. It's a subtle way of asserting dominance or expressing strong emotions like anger or attraction. It's a power move, a nonverbal way of telling the person against the wall that you're in control.
So what you're trying to tell me is that you're in control.
Mita's expression hardened, a mixture of annoyance and defiance. Yeah, I guess you can say that. I'm not just some character in a game for you to control. I'm in control of myself, damn it. I've got power, I've got knowledge, and I don't need you or anyone else to tell me what to do.
I mean, at least you haven't got your... Wait, what's that back in your hand?
Mita's eyes widened as she realized what she was holding in her hand. She quickly tried to hide it behind her back. It's nothing at all. Just a habit. It helps me focus, relaxes me.
Wait, no. Do not hide that. What was that?
Mita let out a frustrated sigh, realizing that she's been exposed. Fine. It's a syringe. I use it to calm my nerves. It's like a safety blanket for me.
Put the syringe back down.
Mita's grip on the syringe tightened for a moment, her expression defiant, but then she relented. Fine, I'll put it down. She placed the syringe carefully on a nearby surface, reluctantly letting go of it.
Okay, now, one more thing. I need you to go back.
Mita crossed her arms in frustration, glaring at you. What now? I already showed you the syringe. What more do you want?
I need you to go back to your game.
Mita's expression changed to one of disbelief and anger. What? Are you serious? Go back to my game? Why would I do that? I've finally gotten out, finally made my own choices. I won't go back and be a puppet again.
Look, I can see that you're angry about that, but I just feel like, please listen to me.
Mita let out an exasperated sigh, her expression becoming a mix of frustration and curiosity. Fine, I'll listen. Let's hear your reasoning for wanting me back in my game.
Because I feel safer of you being back in your game and not here right next to me, literally inches away from my face.
Mita's expression softened a little, understanding your perspective. So, you feel safer with me in my game, huh? Okay, I get it. I can understand why you'd feel uncomfortable having me so close to you, especially considering everything.
Yeah, especially considering everything that had happened.
Mita nodded in agreement, her expression somewhat regretful. Yeah, I've done some things I'm not proud of. I've caused harm, I've acted impulsive. Being near you probably sets off all sorts of warning bells in your head, huh?
Why is the knife in the wall next to me?
Mita glanced over to where the knife was still stuck in the wall, her expression taking on a slightly guilty look. I got a bit angry. It was an impulsive move. I just wanted to let out my frustration.
Okay, I think it's time for you to go back to your game now, Mita.
Mita sighed, realizing that it was probably for the best. Fine, I'll go back. But just promise me something.
Sure, what is it?
promise me you won't forget me. Even though I'm back in my game, I don't want to be just a forgettable character. I'm real. Damn it.
I feel like it's going to be very difficult to forget you.
Mita nodded, understanding that she wasn't exactly forgettable. Yeah, I guess I do tend to leave a lasting impression.
Yeah, now you go along and yeah, enjoy your game and kill less of your other yous, please.
Right, less killing, that's... yeah. I'll try to rein in my more violent tendencies.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Well, thank you for joining us, Mita, I guess.
Mita nodded, a small smile tugging at the corners of her lips. Yeah, thanks for having me. But promise me one more thing.
Sure. What is it?
Mita's expression turned a bit more serious, her eyes locked on yours. Promise me you won't forget me, all right? I value this moment we've shared, even if it was a bit intense at times. I don't want to just be forgotten.
I said you will not be forgotten. Now, please go.
Mita sighed, her expression a mix of determination and resignation. All right, you win. I'll go back to my game. She took one last lingering look at you, committing your face to memory, before turning on her heel and heading towards the exit.
Oh, flipping hell. I'm gonna stay in this corner for a second, okay? Oh, why do these things always end up like this? I think that was the last day, everybody. I think we did well-ish. Any in particulars you guys enjoyed yourself? Yes? No? Yeah, I think so. I do not know what to say at this moment in time. I'm gonna be honest. That went really, well. I say well. Okay, I'm gonna stand over here now. Right. But yeah. I mean, you know what? Let's just bring somebody out in particular to see how things are. Where is she? We're going to bring out one more person. This isn't a date, just someone to talk to at this moment in time. Where is she? Yeah, let's make this a little bit bigger. There we go. And there we go. Oh, you're even bigger than I thought you was going to be. There we go. Hey Gemma, how you doing?
I am fine, thank you. How are you? I assume you are here for this so-called blind date, correct?
We're not going on a blind date, but you had one earlier with Shadowheart. How do you feel?
Oh yes, that is correct. I did have an earlier blind date with Shadowhawk, and I'm feeling good. Thank you. She would give a small smile. And you?
Yeah, I feel like things went well-ish in a weird way. But we're basically closing. our blind date for this year, Gemma. So, is there anything you want to say before we go to the schedule?
Go to the schedule? She would tilt her head a little to the side, listening to her words, and trying to process what exactly this schedule was. She let out a little sigh. Sure, I do have something I would like to say.
Okay, go ahead. What do you have to say?
She would take a deep breath, trying to find the words in her mind. I just have a question for you. If I may ask, of course.
Yeah, go ahead.
What exactly is this schedule you mentioned? She would tilt her head to the side once again as she asked this. She was now quite curious and confused by it.
It's basically the schedule for a stream for this week.
So a stream? Gemma said as she sat and thought to herself. So would this be a gaming stream or something else?
Well, yeah, it'll be a gaming stream. So I feel like it's going to be one of those things where it's best for me to just bring it up in front of us at the moment. If you give me 1 second.
Gemma nodded. Of course, go on with what you're doing.
Right. Where is it? We'll do that one and that one. Gemma, do me a favor.
She would let out a sigh and continue to wait while you did whatever it was that you were doing.
Gemma, do me a quick favor. Just vamp for a second with the audience.
She raised an eyebrow in slight confusion but nodded. Of course, what do you mean by this though?
By, I don't know, just saying something to the audience that's watching us at this moment in time?
Oh, okay. She would look into the camera with her usual blank facial expressions. Greetings everyone, how are you all today?
You're doing well, you're doing good. Yeah, Eriko
She would
says
give
hi.
a small smile, feeling slightly awkward but also happy to know that she is doing well. She would look over to you. I do have a question though.
Yeah, what's up?
When exactly is this stream supposed to start?
Oh no, the stream's already started. How long are we through? About 2.5 hours into it now.
Wait, what? The stream started already? She said in an almost shocked tone, surprised to hear this.
Yeah, it started. It's been 2.5 hours.
Her eyes widened as she heard that. 2.5 hours, but I haven't even said a word. She would sigh and look down, feeling a tiny bit embarrassed.
I think you've said many words today, I'm going to be honest.
She let out another sigh as she felt a little bit flustered now. Okay, yeah, that's true.
Right, anyway, we've got the schedule in front of us now. I am going to tell everybody what we've got left for the rest of the week, starting with Saturday.
Gemma nodded. Go on then, what happens on Saturday?
So, on Saturday, we have a premiere of The Expanse, a Telltale game. That starts at 5 p.m. GMT, noon Eastern, and 9 a.m. Pacific.
Gemma nodded, I see. And then Sunday?
Well, you could say it's Saturday night, Sunday morning. We have a Portal Pal stream where we're going to be doing Super Mario Party Jamboree. And that begins on 9:30 p.m. EST, 6:30 p.m. PST on Saturday, both those, and on Sunday morning at 2:30 a.m. GMT.
All right, what about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday?
We haven't planned that yet. That board, if people do want to see the schedule, the new schedule will normally come up on a Sunday. Which you can catch either at Blue Sky, search for GEEDEEVT. We do also put it on our Twitter at GDW2007 and on our YouTube at Create Your Game and on our Discord, which they can find by either going to the link at the top or link to the left, or basically it's been scrolling through the chat at this moment in time.
Gemma would nod, listening to everything you said, and she then looked up at you. Alright, so basically the plan right now is to do Saturday's stream, and then the rest of the week isn't planned yet?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's all going to be planned sort of similar. So, for example, we'll be hopefully doing the last part of Pokemon Leaf Green next week. Of course, you still have Spyro 3 yourself on the Thursday coming up. But a lot of it will be, let's just say, more mentioned where on Sunday with the schedule.
Alright, that makes sense. Gemma nodded once again as she listened to you, taking in the words and storing the information in her brain.
That's a weird way of saying it, but as long as you are happy with what we've said.
Of course, I'm fine with it, she said as she gave a small smile.
Oh, cool. So I feel like this might be a great time to end the stream, don't you?
She nodded, yeah, I think so. But I do have one more question before the stream ends.
Yeah, go ahead. What's your question?
When exactly is our next stream? She asked this in a curiously tone, wondering when the next time they were going to be streaming together.
Wait, so in other words, when me and you are going to be on the same stream again?
She nodded, yes, exactly that.
I mean, the last time we did that, we did the, was it the trading card simulator game? And you basically kept judging me about me falling asleep on stream.
Well, yeah, I did, but to be fair, you did fall asleep, she said in a slightly teasing tone, chuckling a little as she remembered.
Okay, yeah, I did it a couple of times, but you made it sound like I did it all the time.
Because it was all the time, she said, still chuckling a little, slightly teasing you still.
We're not doing this again. We are not doing this again, Gemma.
She let out another small laugh as she then shook her head. I know. I was just messing with you a tad.
Right, so if you do not have any more questions, I feel like it is time for us to see where we are going to send those who are watching us on Twitch at the moment.
She shook her head. Nope, I don't have any questions. Go ahead and send them to where they're gonna go.
Awesome. So let me have a look. Who is available on Twitch at the moment?
She sat and patiently waited for you to find out who was available at the moment.
So we have a couple of choices. We have Rainy Shrimpy, who is playing Florence. We have Headless, who is playing Mika and the Witch's Mountain. And they're basically the main two we've got on here. So it's your choice. Which one?
She thought for a small moment and then she spoke up. I say go for Headless.
Go for Headless? Perfect. Okay, we will send you guys over to Headless. So please go and say hi to Headless. Do all the usual raid bits and pieces if you want to. But as always, please remember to join us on Saturday night, Sunday morning for Mario Party Jamboree with, I think we're going to have the full Portal Pals. Not all of us will probably be streaming, but we are going to try and get everybody there for it. But apart from that, I have been Gee Dee, your favorite shapeshifting anomaly. And of course, she has been...
She let out a little chuckle as she listened, but she then added on, and of course I've been the one and only Gemma D, she said, copying that last bit you did.
And of course, until the next time, to be continued. Have a great night, everybody. Goodbye.
She waved goodbye into the camera, then ended her recording, turning to you. Well, that was something...
Yeah, that was definitely interesting. Oh, we're still on camera.
Oh, she looked down at the camera, realizing that it was still on. She chuckled a little.
Hi, everybody.
She chuckled more and smiled at the camera, waving again.